I want to share with you guys a mindset that has changed how I see the world and how I pursue my goals. And I think it's a very valuable mindset shift, and it's very revealing to sort of the nature of things. So I wanted to share this with you guys, and it does have to relate with power and computers, but this relates to everything. But these two things in particular. So when you have ADHD, you have executive dysfunction, right? So that means, your working memory is a little scuffed. Your ability to focus is a little bit scuffed. You're either hyper focused or not focused at all, depending on how much dopamine is going on. And then you have a hypersensitivity to dopamine as well, so you can become overstimulated. So these are all very like let's be real here, this is a nerf. You also have some buffs, like you're typically more creative, you have really good ideas. You also typically are funny, you got a funny bone in you, there's buffs and nerfs. It's like a class in a video game, is the way I'd say having ADHD is like. Everything's just a little different. So computers are one of the ways that you can overcompensate for your nerfs, and the way that you do this is by using computers. And this is the thing, is people already do this. We're living in an age where people are using computers as an extension of their own minds, where people are using computers as an extension of their brains. We're slowly but surely progressing towards the cyberpunk dystopian that you are either dreading or looking forward to, right? And so we just have to work with that. Like that's not going to stop. Technology is going to continue getting bigger and badder and better, and there's going to be more and more proprietary slop and algorithmic slop that goes into your brain that basically tells you how to think, so you stop thinking for yourself. It's extremely hard to not get sucked in by some thumbnails on YouTube, right? And you watch the video, and it's basically somebody saying something in a stimulating way, and they're like pressing all the buttons that make your brain go like, oh wow, yeah, this. And so then you basically adopt the mindset of this video as your mindset. And you didn't really think about it. You're just like, yeah, no, this is the exposure to whatever you had. And so now you formed an opinion based off of this, either good or bad. Like if you had watched a negative video about this first, you would probably have a negative opinion about whatever you watched. And if you watched a positive video about whatever topic, you would probably have a positive opinion about this topic, right? That's scary. That means that the computer is actually thinking for you. And this has always been a problem. This is propaganda. This is media. But media is becoming much more present. And, companies are sending all this garbage your way. Fees are getting higher because there's subscriptions for everything. They're purposefully getting you addicted to things like doom scrolling, hyperstimulative content, and hyperstimulating video games. And, it's extremely easy for somebody with ADHD to become addicted to something like this, because it's like kind of put up in a way as it's like, oh, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. It's fine. I'm just playing some video games. It's fine. I'm just, scrolling on TikTok. It's whatever. I kind of alluded to this one with the orange. I hope I don't have to go into this, but this one is really, really, really bad for you. If you don't believe me, just look up Easy Peasy Method and read the book, and it will help you. But this is all horrible for your brain. Like this basically turns you into if it turns a normal person into slop, then what is it doing to you, right? And this is why so few people become successful. This is why so few people escape the rat race, is because their brains are basically chained to this system of just doom, digital doom. And so right now, your computer is you're probably under your computer's control. But a computer is supposed to be a tool that helps you. You want your computer to be under your control. right? So this is what digital sovereignty is all about. Digital sovereignty is basically gaining back technology as a tool that helps you instead of harms you. How do you gain digital sovereignty? Well, the way you gain digital sovereignty is by switching to free open source software, which is software that has been developed by a community of developers where nobody is getting paid. And there's different types of this, like Obsidian technically isn't, but it mostly is. Like, there is a paid version of Obsidian that adds syncing, but for the most part, it's free and open source. So that's the only proprietary thing in Obsidian. So I'd still feel comfortable using it. Like, it's fine. It's not really in my way. It's not shoving advertisements down my throat. But this is good. And there's a free open source alternative to almost everything out there. So you have free open source alternatives to Gmail. You have free open source alternatives to YouTube. You have free open source alternatives to basically everything that you would actually use on a computer. And oftentimes, they're better. Honestly, they're not always better, but that's fine, because the way you actually beat this is by returning intentionality to your devices. And this applies to your phone as well. So not just your computer, but your phone and your environment. Everything around you, you want to make intentional, because if your environment is controlling you, then guess what? You will only ever be a product of your environment. You will never actually be in control of your life. You will always be in control by your environment. If you have a job that you have to work constantly, that is like horrible for your mental health and takes up a bunch of hours, then you're just going to like go insane and not even be able to think for yourself anymore. I've literally experienced this. Some of the worst years of my life were when I was working fast food, and it literally felt like day in, day out, just slop. And I literally could feel myself becoming dumber while I was working at this fast food job, because I had no time to be me. I was always struggling. I was always sad. It was like my prefrontal cortex basically shut off. And this is a horrible thing. Like, this is literally your life being stolen from you. And then when you're in this mode, all you want to do is find a quick escape. So you go to the computer, you go to your addictions, you go to these kinds of things that just make it worse. But there's hope, because this is not how it has to be. If you take up the mindset of you are the builder and designer of your environment, then realize your environment is a constant influence on you. It's constant, it's passive. So if you exist in a good environment, you're going to have probably a good life, right? Like, if you have a comfortable environment, you're going to be comfortable all the time. That's obviously going to affect how you react with reality constantly. And this applies to your computer and your phone, okay? So if you have a good environment on your phone and a good environment on your computer, and we've already talked about how a computer is an extension of your brain at this point, then, and you should be using this as an extension of your brain if you have ADHD, because it's extremely helpful to overcome your executive dysfunction. Well, we need to make this intentional. We need to make this something that is serving us and not destroying us even worse than a normal person because of our ADHD. Like, we're going to fall behind if we don't do something about this. The best way to do this is to start switching to analog technology, because analog technology takes intentionality. So, instead of using notes like I am here, you could just use a notebook. In fact, I have a great notebook guide that I want to share with you guys. So that is a video that's coming up. Also, by the way, the talking head isn't here right now because I lost my phone. I'm going to have to find it. It is what it is. Switching to analog helps a lot, but obviously you can't completely switch to analog. You need to do a little bit of both, where you have some digital and some analog, and you need to find a balance between them. And I find that the perfect balance of this, like the way that you introduce intentionality back into your digital environment is by switching to Linux. You probably just felt a lot of resistance. You might have felt the urge to click off this video, but seriously, Linux is free and it, for the most part, works. Like if you use Mint, I guarantee that every important thing that you do on your computer, you can also do on Mint. Then that's the easiest one to switch to. It's way less space than Windows. You can dual boot it pretty easily. It's not that hard, and it's fun because you can actually customize everything yourself. Like it's a much more customizable environment. And then if you like Mint, you know, you have all these other operating systems that you can choose in the Linux tree. They all have their own different flavors. And this is powerful because this is helping you create your own digital identity. You know, because if you're going to be glued to a screen most of the day, right? Or like for a significant amount of the day, then you would this is an environment. This is something that's constantly influencing you. You want this to be a good influence on you. You want to change this so that it's influencing you in a good way. But you are an individual, and like you cannot be happy by just taking somebody else's slop. Like you need to make your own garden. You need to make your own mental and digital and environmental garden. That's the mindset that I would think about this, because a garden is an intentional place where you plant things. In this metaphor, planting would be like content. It would be like the systems that you interact with on a daily basis. And you got all these different systems of different kinds. Some of them might need to be in shade, you know. Some of them might need certain prerequisites. Some of them might need this. Some of them might need that. And so a garden is this designed thing. It's a project that's like art. And that's kind of what I'm getting at here is you want to make your life like art. And you want to make your every environment that you exist in like art. So go ahead. Make your car art. Make your environment art, like your room. Do something to change your room to make it more pleasant to be in there. If you go ahead and make your living art, like however you're making money, make it your art. So my suggestion for this is starting a business. Starting a business is one of the best things that I have ever done. I've been so much happier since I started my own business full time. It's very hard, and I don't recommend that you quit your day job for this. Like you have to build up and learn how to do this, and it does take quite a while. I've already been doing this for a few months, and I'm still not making enough money to fully support myself off of it. It is slow. It does take time. I'm learning every day, and it's fun, and I enjoy it. You know, if you're thinking about starting a business, this is like another thing pushing you, like you should probably do that. Disconnect from the algorithms. You can increase your quality of life. You can basically design your life for fulfillment instead of letting life just throw a bunch of crap into your head. And my suggestion for this is switch to Linux, because you have so much potential, so many opportunities. Is it harder? Is there a steeper learning curve? Yes, but it's probably not as bad as you think. In fact, it can get really dopaminergic and fun. It's kind of like a video game, honestly. Most things just work. Honestly, even with gaming, it's pretty good. But some things don't just work, and you will have to learn the skill of, well, how do I fix this? And it's really easy. Basically, you just look for forums and manual pages, and then you find the answer, and then you do it. It's actually no different than building a Lego set. Like, I'm not going to lie. So it's basically the adult version of like building a Lego set. So don't tell yourself that this is too much work and it's not worth it. It absolutely is, because the long-term payoff of this, if you start to design your life and if you start to believe your life is like a garden, and if you start to change and create that garden yourself instead of letting other people create it for you, is you're basically going to escape the matrix, is kind of what it's like. And once you create an environment where all of your tech serves you instead of you serving your tech, then you're just going to feel so much happier and less distracted, and you're just going to feel great. And I know this because I'm on the other side of this, and I feel great. Like, I don't use YouTube anymore. I use some command line interface where all I can do is look at my subscriptions. or search for a video. And then I play it, and it's not open in a browser. It opens in its own little video player, and that's it. And I watch the video, and then it's done, and it closes. And this is so nice. Like, it's so much, it's slower, but in a very good way. I feel more fulfilled. I feel happy. And I wish that more people were on this. So if you want some free open source software alternatives, then I can hook you up with those in another video. Let me know in the comments. If you thought that this video was valuable and you want other people to see it, go ahead and share it, like, subscribe. And if you are thinking about making the switch to Linux, I help people do this. So go ahead and click the link in the description below, and we can talk about your needs, talk about your productivity, talk philosophy. We can just chat about that. And then if you decide that you want to work with me going forward, I can help you make a painless switch into Linux, or help you with productivity, or just help you do some body doubling. That's what I'm here for. That's all I've got, guys. Thank you so much. Go ahead and join the Discord too, because I would love to hear what you guys think about this video. I'd love to get feedback on my videos. I would love to talk with you guys and actually connect with you guys as people, instead of just like one-off comments, you know? So go ahead and join the Discord if you're interested in this kind of stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you later. Peace.